Hi, welcome to my channel. This is episode 2 of our Flask and SQLite inventory management app series. In the last video, we set up Flask and created our database. Today's goal is to implement full CRUD functionalities, which is create, read, update, and delete inventory items. If you are new to my channel and have not watched the episode 1 of this series, I will paste the link in the description. So go ahead and watch episode 1 before watching episode 2. If this is your first time creating CRUD functionalities in a web application, let's understand what is CRUD. Here is an analogy to understand the concept of CRUD. So think of your app, a mobile app, as a notebook. So create means adding a note, a new item. Read means looking your notes, like viewing inventories. Updating means editing a note, like changing quantities or names. And delete means tearing a page out or removing an item. All right, before moving ahead with the coding, let's see all the files which we have created in our first episode. So we have created app.py Python file, and we have created db.py. We are going to define the CRUD functions in db.py file. So let's go ahead and create our functions. We have to import SQLite pre-module. If you have not imported yet, please import this. I have created a variable to store the database name, which is inventory.db, and the variable name is db_name. So instead of mentioning inventory.db, the database name, I will just write the variable name. So first we are going to create a function to get all the items. Then we are going to create a function to add inventory to table. The next function will be to delete an item. We are also going to create a function to get an item based on ID, which is our primary key. And finally, we are going to update the inventory items. So we will create a function to update. Now, the basic concept is for each function, first we have to create a database connection like this, and then we'll create a cursor, and finally we will execute an SQL query using the execute function of our cursor class like this. Wherever I'm updating our data, for example, in our update function and in our delete function and in our add inventory function, we are going to execute the commit function so that our database changes are made permanent. Let's go ahead and define our first function, that is get all items. Get all items, right? Now, as I was saying, first we have to create a connection. We'll create a cursor object, and then we will execute our select statement. So I'm just going to copy the first 3 statements because those are common for all the functions. So for this, select star from inventory is the SQL query we are going to use. Now after this, we want to call a function to get all the items from the cursor. So we will store the items in an item list and cr.fetch all function. Once we have the item, we will close the connection. That's it. And after closing the connection, we will just return our items. That's it. So this is our get all item function. Now let's create our add inventory function. Again, we are going to create a connection, a cursor object, and we are going to execute an SQL statement. So I'll just copy paste it here. But to add items to our inventory table, we have to receive some of the values from where we are calling this function. So I'll just accept some parameter, the name of the inventory or the item, and the quantity and price of the item. Now we are just going to execute the insert SQL statement. All right, this is it. So we will execute insert into inventory. These are the column names, and the values for these columns are a variable right now. So these are kind of placeholder. So in Python, we don't directly write the variable name. We have just used a placeholder for the values. Now, outside this comma, we are going to give the actual values. Now the next thing is to just commit our insert statement and then close our connection. Let's go ahead and define a delete item function. We are going to accept an ID here, item underscore ID. We will just update the SQL statement. I'm going to remove this SQL statement and we are going to delete from inventory. We'll just make it small. In where clause, I will just pass ID equals to a placeholder. Now I'm going to pass the placeholder value, that is item ID. Now in Python, when you give the parameter name just like this, it will not work. Now this is identified as a tuple in Python. So we are just going to give a comma here. Once we are done with the delete statement, I'll just close. I'm just going to call the commit function and the close function. Now let's create a function to get item detail based on ID or the primary key. Define get item by ID. We will accept an item ID here. Right now, here I'll just write a select statement. Select star from inventory where ID equals to a placeholder. Finally, we are going to define one more function, that is the update item function. Now here I'm going to accept which item we want to edit or update. So item underscore ID, what column or which column you want to update. It could be a name, it could be quantity, and it could also be price column. So I will mention those. Update inventory, set name equals to a placeholder. Quantity will also be a placeholder, and then we have price equals to a placeholder, where ID equals to a placeholder. Now let's give our parameters here. So it should, the first parameter is name, and then second is quantity, and then price, and lastly item underscore ID. We will call the commit function and close function. Now, as you can see, each function, for example, the get item or the add item, delete item, get item by ID. So all the functions, we are connecting to a database and performing a task, and then finally closing the connection. So this keeps things modular and cleaner. All right, so we have completed the modification of db.py file. Now let's go ahead and change the app.py file, where we will create, couple of routes. Let's modify our, route route here. So we have defined a function. So whenever a user enters the, local host, we are calling the home function and returning a message. Now we are not just going to return a message in our inventory management app. We are going to return all the items, from our inventory table. So let's call our, get all items function. Before moving ahead, I almost forgot to, import a couple of modules. So let's import modules like request and redirect. We will also need URL underscore for. So these modules are important when we are dealing with, get request and post request from our HTML page. Now I'm just going to return inventory.html page. So we will render our HTML template. Inventory.html, and we will pass items equals to items. Now let's modify our inventory.html page to display, all the items. So in our inventory.html page, I have, created a title, and we are going to use the online version of Bootstrap. And so you can just, copy this link from the description and use it in your code like this. Let me quickly create our HTML design. And once I'm done, we will go through all the important, Jinja2 code. And that's it. The design of our inventory.html page is done. We will just loop through all the items we are returning from the home function from our route in our inventory.html page. So to loop through all the items, we will use the Jinja2 template. To use Jinja2 template, just put curly braces a percentage symbol and loop through all the items. For items, item any items, we will create a row tr, and inside this row let's create the columns. And one more. That's it. Now this is just like a Python for loop, so we are looping through all the items, and each record will be available in our item variable. So item, and to substitute the item values here, we will use Jinja2 template again, so it is basically this and 0th position. Now let's repeat this format everywhere. Now we also have the action column. Inside action, I'm just going to create two hyperlink. We will call the edit route, which is not defined yet. We will define in a second. So we are going to pass the item 0th position. Let's give some space. That's it. Now just for the design, I'm going to use a class called button and then btn hyphen primary small button, right? Edit. And now just repeat this hyperlink for our next action, which is going to be delete. So this particular HTML template should display our items from our inventory table. If you have any questions regarding this HTML template, do ask me in the comment. I will make sure to reply those comments. All right, let's run the program and then see the output. So I'm just going to call app.py. So Python app.py, press enter. Follow this link, click on here. All right, as you can see, we have a couple of errors, particularly this error, which says render template inventory item. I think I have not closed the Jinja2 for loop. So which is going to be here. Okay, my bad. So let's close this. So, and I will just rerun our program one more time. So view terminal, I'm just canceling this app.py, follow this link. So here are the inventories. So these inventories I have added before recording this video. So yeah, so these are the inventories in our inventory table. We can add inventories by clicking the add button. We can edit and delete each inventory items by just clicking the action button here. Now if I click on add, this will throw me an error because we have not defined the add route yet. So again, if I click on edit, this will give me page not found. Again, we have not defined the edit route. So let's define those routes in our app.py file. All right, so we have to define the add route, which is basically app dot route. We will call /add, and we are expecting methods equals to get, or it could also be post. Define and add. Right now, if the request dot method equals to post, then we are going to call the add item method. So we will accept name, quantity, price from request dot form, and we will have the parameter name as name. I'm just going to copy this and this. Let me update the parameter name to quantity, and this is going to be price. We will also have to convert the quantity and price to floating number. Float. Now let's pass these, variables, that is name, quantity, and price, to our db.add.item method. Once the item is added to our, inventory table, we are just going to redirect to our, home page, or the root node, which is this. Now this should be a URL, so URL underscore for, put a bracket. If the method, the requested method, is not post, we are just going to return redirect, render the add.html page. So add.html, we have not created this page yet. We will create in some time. Let's move on to the next route, which is the delete route. So we want to delete item by using this route, which is going to be delete. We are going to accept an integer, right, which is the ID, item underscore ID, and close it. That's it. Define delete item underscore ID, call the db delete item function and pass the item underscore ID variable. Once the delete is successful, we are just going to redirect our control to the index or the home page, the root node. We are also going to edit, so let's define the edit route. Item underscore ID, right? Let's close this, and we will accept methods like get and post. This and add, edit, accept the item ID. We are just going to call get item by ID function, db.get item by ID. Pass your item underscore ID here, and if request dot method equals to post, let's get the updated name and the updated quantity and the price. Request dot form, and the field name is name, I'm just going to repeat this statement for quantity and price. This will be quantity and this will be price. Converting it to int and integer. And let's convert the price into float. That's it. Let me correct this as well. Here it should be integer. And then once we have the values, name, quantity, and price, let's call the db.update item function and pass the item ID, name, quantity, and price. Once this is done, I'm just going to redirect to our home page, which is the root node, right? If the method is not equal to post, so I just copy this line and use it here. It will be edit.html page and pass the item, this item. All right, so we are done with the modification of our app.py file. Now, as you can see, there are a couple of page name or HTML file name, which are add.html, edit.html. This HTML file we have not created yet. So let's create these files first, these HTML files, and design those. So I'm just going to create a file here, add.html. The add inventory button in our inventory.html page, which is this, is going to call this particular route /add. So this will be interpreted as this particular route. The following add function is going to be called. Now inside this function, we are checking the post method. If the method equal to post, we are getting the name value from our form, quantity, and the price. And finally, we are just calling the home route, which is this. But if the method is not equal to post, we are calling the add.html file. Now here, this add.html file should have a form because we are using the form here, right? So let's define an HTML form inside add.html. I'm just going to copy the layout for this file from inventory.html. That's it. Let me remove this, and till here. I'm going to remove it. Let me also remove the CSS. Let me update this as add items. And since we don't have the CSS file, I'll just remove the class from our body and I'll just give a heading, add new items. Now let's create a form. Method is going to be post. Create couple of label. Label 1. I'm just going to use it here and here as well. This is going to be name. This will be quantity. And price. We also want a button. And the type will be submit because we are going to submit the form. Let's define the input field for name, input, and this will be of type text, and the name of this input field will be name, and that's it. Let me give a couple of break lines. I will just copy this and use it here as well, and here. Let me rename this to a number because quantities are going to be number, and the name of this field will be QTY. Price will also be a number, and the name will be price. And let me add a step here. Since the price is a floating field, so we are going to give a step equals to 0.01. All right, so we are done with the add.html form. I will just copy the add.html template, and let's use it in our edit.html uh, file. So this will be edit.html, edit an item. We are going to edit name, quantity. I think these are just fine. We will just have to change this button to update, right? That's it. We have just completed our HTML files and the middleware and backend logic. Let's go ahead and run this file and fix if there are any bugs. So I'm just going to open our terminal. Clear. Let's run our app.py file. All right, seems like there is an error. So this is just a small typo. So the spelling for method is wrong. It should be method. This should fix our issue. Right, let me just clear my screen and then rerun our file. Let me delete all the inventories from our table. Delete, 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 and delete. Refresh. So all the items are deleted. Now let's add a new item. So I'm going to add t-shirts for men, and let's say we want 290 quantities, and the price for each t-shirt is going to be, let's say, $10. Add it. So t-shirt for men is added. I will add one more inventory. Let's add iPhone 16 Pro Max, and the quantity will be 890, and the price, let's make it $600. And yeah, so this is our inventory management app where we can edit each item by clicking the edit button. We can delete the item just by clicking the delete button. So let me show you how to edit this. Click on edit. All right, so it seems like there is an error in our edit page. So let's fix it, because when you click on this edit button, our function should get all the details of row 8. So here the values are not coming, which is why we need to fix this error and rerun this application. So let's fix it. Let's see our edit.html page here. So here we have to give value equals to item 0. Sorry, this is going to be the first column, not the 0th column. And then let's repeat this for rest of the field. Just copy this and put it in quantity and in price as well. This will be the second column and this will be the third. Let's refresh our application. That's it. I'll just try to edit this item one more time. Click on edit. Okay, this is still not coming. So all right, so this should fix our issue. Let's rerun the program one more time. I'm going to save app.py and then go to view terminal, execute our app.py file, execute. Right, the application is opening. Let's click on our edit button one more time. All right, the issue is still there, which means this could be an issue from our db function. So let's check our db function. All right, so the issue is we are not returning any uh, you know uh, values from our cursor. So let's return the values. So before returning, let's fetch it. Let's fetch the item from the cursor. Fetch one. That's it. Now let's close the connection and then return items. All right, this should fix the issue. Let's rerun our program. Here it is. So we have the output, we have the quantity, price. Let's click on edit one more time. Now we have the item details in our edit.html page. I'll just update the inventory name to let MacBook Pro update. All right, so there is one more error in our update item function. So let's fix it. So syntax error near quantity field. So let's fix this error. All right, so where is it? db.py update. All right, so I missed a comma here, so it should be a comma before quantity. Save it. Reload. So the update was successful. Let's update our first inventory item. I will say not t-shirt, just shirt for men. Update. So the update was successful. Let's delete this the MacBook Pro inventory. Delete. So the item was deleted. Refresh it and the item is gone. All right, we have completed the implementation of CRUD functionalities into our inventory management application. We are able to add new items just by clicking Add New Items button. We can also modify the item name, quantity, and price just by clicking on the Edit button. We can also delete an item just by clicking on the Delete Action button. Now let's do a quick review of our code. So we have created app.py. Inside this file, we have created routes. So we have the root URL and we have the add URL. We also have the delete and the edit URL. In our db.py file, we have created functions to get item, to add item, to delete item, and to update an item. We have also designed a couple of HTML pages like the inventory.html to display all the inventories or items available in our inventory table. We have created the add.html in which we are using form to capture user input and send those data to our app.py file and finally to our db.py file. Similarly with edit.html, we are using a form to capture users and then sending those input to our db.py file. I hope you guys have understood the project and the code which we have used to implement the CRUD functionalities into our application. In the next video of this series, we are going to add a couple of validations to our input fields. What I mean is when I click on add new item button, this is going to open up a form. Now, if I don't provide any input for this field, name, quantity, and price, and if I just click on the add button, our inventory management app will not be able to handle, empty fields. So if I click on add, this is going to throw us an error. So this is expected, right? So in the next episode, we will add validations to check if these fields are not empty. We are also going to add features like sorting the items based on ID and a function to search an item based on its name. We will also redesign our edit and add new item form. And that's it for today's episode. If you guys have any questions or facing any challenges when developing this application, feel free to ask me in the comments. I will definitely reply and help you guys. If this video helped you, smash that like button and subscribe my channel for more videos on Python mini projects. Thank you for watching. See you next time.